Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Network Merchandise Shop. Pick up your logo merchandise by heading over to abvnetwork.com, clicking on Shop, and start filling your basket today. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for something for yourself, a customized gift, or logoed items for your business gift shop, the Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. That's the number 2 in the Bar to Go. Don't forget our friends at Neely Family Distillery now ship their unique distilled spirits directly to you. To order yours, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we are going to discuss what flavors we would offer if we started a bourbon jelly company. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Heidi Fosnot, Evan Van Scoik, and Lenny Eckstein.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, so we're going to be talking jellies and see if the team can get creative, because the low-hanging fruit is, let's have a bourbon jelly and a rye jelly. And well, let's see if we can get a little bit, we can do better than that, I think. So we'll see what we come up with. We'll get to that after the break. For right now, I want to see if I'm in the wrong here. I'm having a hard time these days with people who claim whiskey is just overly hot when it is not. I was trying some bakers. I was at a tasting, a group, and it wasn't of bourbon people. It was at the bike ride. And these aren't necessarily bourbon people, but we're tasting bakers, which is very good bourbon. It's pretty smooth. I don't know that there's very much of a sting. You would have thought we took Everclear and that we first of all cut their mouths with tiny razor blades, and then we poured Everclear in there. And this whole table I was at, it was me and 5 other guys. So there's 6 of us. They're like, oh my God, a dumpster fire in my mouth could not be hotter than this right now. They're making comments like that. I'm like, are you kidding me? They're like, where's the water? We got to put some water in this. I'm like, it's not that hot. At best, it's gently warming. To me, it's great bourbon. This is great bourbon. And these guys are like in tears.
I'm using that next. Oh, it's gently warming.
I was angered. I almost wanted to start punching people, but I would have thought that would have got me banned. So I didn't. I just sat there and enjoyed the show. How does it get to you guys when you know something is not hot and they claim that it's like super hot? Does that bother you?
Yes.
Yeah. It's angry.
By it.
Throat punch.
Here's we all might have different takes on this, but mine right off the cuff is like, we're dealing with immature adults. They haven't yet, they might be old, but they're just like, they're fucking babies. Stop it.
Yeah.
I don't even care if it is a low quality product. Do you have to express in that manner?
Right.
Like,
Immature palate, maybe?
Well, yeah, exactly. And like short of some food that is downright gonna cause immediate bad reaction, which that can happen. I ate a bad oyster recently. It was terrible. Like that's acceptable, but don't take a product and just shit on it because you're that immature and your palate is that unsophisticated.
Well, that's where I say like you should have to bring in like the whiskey wheel and with all the different tasting notes and things like that and go, okay, so is it hot or is it one of these? Here, is it allspice? Is it this? Or, and start training them. I don't know. Start training your palate so that your immediate reaction isn't, oh, that's hot.
We always, almost always, when we do tastings at the distillery, especially now, and we haven't always done this, but more recently, we've made sure that when people are tasting the bourbons that we explain to them first, do not drink it. When I'm pouring it, I go, do not touch this for a couple minutes. Just listen to me talk for a few minutes here. And I explained to them that I want them to take at least 3 sips out of the glass because each one is going to be different. That first one is not fun. You usually don't like it on the first sip. And I'm like, don't take it like a shot because then you're really not going to like it. But I'm like, either your 3rd sip of bourbon, you're going to really start to learn if you do like it or not. as opposed to just one slug. Now, people like us who do drink a lot, like it's going to be more apparent for us if we're going to like something or not. But for people that don't know bourbon, I don't know how many people I've had go, well, I don't really drink bourbon. And they do it that way. And they go, oh, actually, like I like understand some of the notes that you're talking about now.
Right.
And it is hot. And they'll be like, it is too strong for me. They're like, but I do understand what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
And like, that's like stepping towards them learning their palate of like, you don't just take the shot of it, which you can, but you're not going to learn anything about your bourbon if you just shoot it.
What do you think the team here, and again, we have no way to know this, but just speculating, if either would have been a blind tasting or I would have just fibbed to them up front and said, hey, this is a 90 proof offering. Check it out and see what you think. You think the reaction would have been the same, or do you think a lot of that's psychology? Because these aren't sophisticated bourbon drinkers. They're not drinking a lot of it. And they see that 115 or 112 or whatever the heck it was. Now, again, Baker's does vary, and I don't remember the exact amount, but do you think a lot of it was that?
Yes.
Their decision was going to be that this is hot when I drink it, and that's how they reacted then too. That's what I think.
You've been in a lot of tastings with Jim and myself where, we're picking barrels and things like that. And that's the first thing we say is, I don't want to know anything about it.
Right.
I don't want to know the proof. I don't know what,
I don't want to know anything.
Know where, what rick house it was in, what level. I don't want to know the mash. I don't want to know anything. I just put them in front of us. And
we're going to pick it by taste.
Yeah. We're just going to do it completely 100% blind. And I think that when you do that with people, it really kind of opens their eyes, because then they're like, instead of going, oh my God, that's 120 proof, that's going to be really high.
Yeah.
Or, whatever. They're tasting it and it forces people to come out with different flavor profiles because they don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah, this was like a Beam timeline tasting, and the first product they had was Old Overholt. It was the bottled and bond Old Overholt, and they're like, that's going to be the lowest proof. And I noticed these guys a little bit freaking out there when the 100 proof was going to be the lowest. And again, their reactions supported that moving forward. So they were.
Was this like an online event?
No, this was a live event. So I was at an event, and sitting at a table with people I didn't know.
I feel like that afforded you the opportunity to, after they were done saying their obnoxious piece, to lean in and just say, you're embarrassing yourself.
Opportunity lost. Yeah.
We can't, we all can admit though, the fact that like a lot of us are definitely more okay with things that are upwards of like 120, 130. We are accustomed to it. And so someone that's not is definitely going to be like terrified of it. But like I said, learn how to taste it and you'll not be
right.
Yeah.
Won't be mortifying.
And like, I probably have the shortest timeline from probably where the person Steve encountered to where we are today. I mean, 6 years ago, I was drinking like party bowl drinks and stuff, like just mixing everything. And I mean, look at me now, basically just the same, but I'm better at BSing my way through it.
Evan with some teal colored fish bowl with a big straw.
You ain't wrong. And it's a curly straw. Yeah. So you have the right picture. And still with like family members and stuff, even if they don't know the proof, just putting a whiskey neat in front of them is very hard for them to handle. And again, 6 years ago, I would have been the same way. I think you do have to go through that journey. You need someone helping you through it. For me, that was Taylor. She showed me the way through it. And we started attending Steve's events in person originally at Total Wine. And like that allowed me to get to that place. So maybe if the person wasn't such a doofus that Steve met, maybe he could have been the beginnings of his journey where he's not at that point to where he can recognize something that's good at different points. He needs to be taken on that journey.
Yeah. There has to be, these guys, and it was like 5 of them. It wasn't just one. So, and they were kind of all doing the same thing, and maybe they're just feeding off one another and they were acting like idiots, but so but again, there's no journey there. This is all just kind of lines that are being delivered,
Yeah.
About the product. So, but you're right though. If you get on that journey and you dedicate yourself to it, and again, 115 can feel like that's really the benchmark at that point. And then, when I start talking higher proof, I'm talking higher than that typically. So, yeah. And I there are products that I've had that I would classify just as hot. Not necessarily flavorful, just heat when they're at those higher proofs, but certainly Baker's doesn't fall under that. So yeah, that's interesting. All right. Well, there you go. Be better than that. I think after you hear what Lenny said, you're embarrassing yourself. So be better. All right. What's everyone drinking? I'm going to go first this time. I've got Wild Turkey here. Kentucky Spirit. So here we go. Cork pop. Decent.
Not bad.
Respectable. Bad. Sometimes respectable wins. If I get lucky, maybe there's some samples thrown in there. Maybe there's a couple bad microphone misfunctions and some bad cork pops, but we'll see what happens. All right. Next up is going to be Lenny. Lenny looks ready to go. So what's he got? New bottle.
Okay, well, once again, I've got another brand new bottle. This is, I just got some mail from my favorite celebrity, Ian Somerhalder, Brothers Bond.
Oh, yeah. No. This is where I got lucky.
Didn't catch anything.
I blame microphone failure on that one because
I think it was.
Sometimes you can get the microphone failure assist, and that's what's got me in the lead right now. Because that was a new bottle. Ian Somerhalder's a good guy, by the way. So yeah, he hand wrote a letter and signed bottles for everyone on that event, which is cool. ABV Network event. All right, Miss Beka Sue, what do you got?
I'm gonna do one of our newest single barrel picks. It's a high rye bourbon. It's called Flying Rye Again.
Oh, that was good. A little sloshy at the end. I didn't quite, stick up, but the cork pop was notable enough to still take the lead. If it would have been close, I would have got it, but it was not close. All right, so that means Evan, you're going to go next. Becca's in the lead.
All right, I've got Barrel Seagrass.
Oh, nice. I like that one.
I got one of those.
All right, let's see what we got. And...
Okay, no, quiet. No. Barrel hits, I would say, at a very high mark. And every once in a while, I try some of their blends. I'm like, this one, it really isn't for me. But they put out a lot of products, so I guess it's going to happen from time to time. Yeah. I think for the most part, I'm in the 80% plus. And then some of them are just some of the best. And Seagrass happens to be one of my favorites. I really like that one. All right, Heidi, you're last. Becca's in the lead.
I have got the last of my Neely's Long Smooth Rye.
Okay,
a little bit left, so I don't know what's going to come out of this one, but we'll see. Nothing.
No,
I wouldn't say nothing.
It was basic. It was decent.
You beat me.
But there was slosh in there too for a little amount. I really expect better. Sorry. I caught her buying new bottles for this. Now she's acting like she didn't buy those bottles, and she's opening some old stuff.
That one's empty.
It is now.
Yeah,
that was a good bottle too.
It is. It's a great bottle. That's why I was hiding it.
Heidiing it. All right. Cheers, gang.
Cheers.
All right. We'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to be starting a bourbon jelly company. We're going to be, this is our first brainstorming session to come up with ideas. We'll do that in just a few. Hello, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, and let's talk for a moment about our sponsors, the people that make this show happen. First up is our friends at Moonshine University. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification at their office in Louisville. The information I learned through lead instructor Colin Blake and their team there is something that I continue to draw upon frequently in my role at the ABV Network. It truly is the standard of establishing a benchmark of knowledge of the bourbon industry. From history to production to brands and people, it's all there. Check out their full listing of programs, including Executive Bourbon Steward certification, production classes if you're considering starting a distillery, and much more at moonshineuniversity.com. I also want to talk about Neely Family Distillery. Back in May of 2018, I met Royce Neely at Limestone Branch's Craft Bourbon Festival. It ended up not only being the start of a great friendship, I started to truly learn about what makes craft whiskey so amazing. You see, I had been a bourbon drinker for over 30 years at that point, and like many people who had been drinking bourbon a long time, I was hard-coded into thinking big bourbon was where it was at and craft was on a journey to get there. Spending time with Royce and learning the things he does to make his whiskey taste better started to really get me to appreciate how things like sweet mashing, open top fermentation, pot distillation, and the grains you are using not only makes your product taste better coming off the still, but also out of the barrel as well. I still love heritage brands and they make up a bulk of my collection. But when you find a craft distiller that is truly dedicated to the craft of distilling, you are drinking some of the best whiskey out there on the market today. That's exactly what's happening at Neely Family Distillery today. Check them out on the web at neelyfamilydistillery.com, or better yet, stop by and see them at their distillery in Sparta, Kentucky. And now, back to the show.
This is also Freddie Mills going underneath the alias of Danny Kennard. You can find me on Facebook at any time. Just look up Danny Kennard, but I am Freddie Mills. Trust me.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today, Steve has us talking about jelly.
Beka submitted this idea, and I was like, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, Beka.
So can I get clarification? Are we doing? Can it be jelly jams and like fruit butters?
Sure.
Or is it just jelly?
Sure. It can be.
Do they all have some bourbon derivative or component, or are we just throwing out flavors?
I think we're the goal is to get as creative as possible. So I would say that you want to, whatever you think that a bourbon is, because it's difficult to find.
How about this? I mean, I don't want to steer this too much, but maybe every single one of these is bourbon barrel aged.
Bourbon barrel aged. Okay. Bourbon barrel aged jelly. So can we
They have bourbon barrel aged jelly?
I don't think.
we just invented
now.
something. We just invented it. Yeah.
Do now.
They don't, but they do now.
I know that we have some bourbon jam at the distillery, but honestly,
I don't think it's barrel aged. I don't think it's barrel aged. Yeah.
No,
Why is
barrel aged.
Huh.
Now here's where
you could do a barrel aged bourbon infusion with the fruits. I don't think you could actually take the jam or the jelly and put it in another barrel.
Oh shit! If you could put honey in a barrel, you could put jam in a barrel.
Well, before you cool the jelly and start to solidify it, it is a liquid.
Right.
You could put the liquid in the barrels.
Yeah, you could put the jelly. You could just be like, just spoon it.
That might be a little weird.
Yeah.
Could you just put like the juice? Because like there's like juice sort of, right? You can put that.
Well, out of the fruit, yeah. If you've infused it, sure, that's legal.
The jelly would stay, jam, whatever it is, would stay shelf stable because of all the sugar. So
so jam and jelly are different though, because jelly is made with the fruit juice.
Pectin.
Jam is made with the pulp and then cooked with sugars to break it down.
What are we talking about then?
Different.
Jam or
I did
jelly?
not know
one.
the difference.
A jelly
which is
company
good
a
to
lot
know.
of times will sell both. So we're a jelly company.
Okay.
We don't want to box ourselves in.
Yes.
Jelly's the big seller, to be honest.
Jelly, jams, and preserves, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got mine.
Okay.
I'm technically not a big like cherry fan necessarily.
Okay.
But cherries soaked in bourbon and then turned into a jam.
Cherries
Taking
soaked in bourbon. Okay, that's good.
Manhattan cherries.
So a boozy cherry jam.
What? Okay.
Is
Okay,
that
we're
a
gonna
poss-
accept
that's-
that.
is
We're
that
gonna,
okay?
we're gonna do that one. That one's accepted. What about
'Cause
one?
I feel like it'd be like almost like it's like it's like an old fashioned cherry jam.
That's what I was gonna say. Take it to the next step. Why can't you do an old fashioned one though? Do you get those flavors in there? You get the cherry,
You could put some like orange,
twist
maybe
of
in there.
orange.
So
You get the
mine-
bitters in there. Yeah, I
Mine
think
is
that's good.
orange bacon bourbon jam.
Orange bacon bourbon. Okay.
Bacon jam is good. So orange bacon bourbon jam. would
Could
be-
we try to replicate the flavors of some of our favorite barrel picks and stuff like? Could we have partner with Adam Stump at Stumpy Spirits and offer Bananas Foster and have his labeling on there? This is a barrel pick from Stumpy Spirits. We partner with a lot of different distilleries, and on that, like Bananas Foster is an obvious one because that's flavors you could create in a jelly easily.
Yeah.
What about a mint julep jelly?
Yeah,
Because there's
of
mint
course.
There you
jelly.
go.
Mint jellies are.
Why
are-
not a mint julep jelly
Yes.
Yeah.
julep jelly? would
on
be-
your lamb?
Yeah, on
I'm
your
drinking
Your
seagrass. I'm drinking seagrass right now, and I'm like, this would taste really good as like a jelly.
Yeah,
So
it's because it's apricot flavored. I
Yeah.
mean, that's freaking fantastic.
Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy.
All right, let's get Barrel on the phone, and we'll get that one approved.
And then you
So
can
what
eat
about
those.
doing like an
See,
apple?
now all of a sudden, this was a terrible idea. It's not sounding bad now.
No, but what if
Partnerships?
what if you did something like an apple butter bourbon, like our
Sounds
apple
good.
bourbon butter spread or something like that?
I
Put that
think-
on some raisin bread for sure.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Heidi's gonna
All
work in a
of
different
these should be
department.
on
than
a
me.
rye bread.
Yeah, on a rye bread.
Yeah.
Or cornbread.
You could do cranberry
Or cornbread. Yeah,
bourbon
good call.
jelly on rye bread.
Cranberry bourbon jelly. Now, come on.
You know, I
that
don't,
can't be done.
I don't feel like I eat jelly really. So I feel like I'm ignorant to all things jelly flavors. So I had to like do some looking online, and I just came across corn cob jelly. And I'm thinking back to my original concept. If we made corn cob jelly and then
Barrel-aged
bourbon
it?
barrels, that'd be fun.
Okay,
That'd
what
be
if
a
you
monster.
what if you hickory smoked it? It can almost taste like your product then, Lenny.
Yeah.
What is corn
Hickory
cob
smoked,
jelly?
I don't know.
bourbon bacon jam.
Hickory smoked bourbon bacon jam.
That sounds good.
Sounds good.
What about like
Let's
a
quit our jobs tomorrow.
Applewood smoked would
Start
work
on our
well.
jelly
would-
company.
what about, like-
yeah.
anything with bacon and bourbon is good. So like blackberry and bacon and bourbon jelly or blueberry bacon bourbon jelly.
Well, we're definitely seeing a lot of like to get the bourbon transition, adding some savory components.
Yeah, like or like
Do
you
the
could do
fruit.
like nuts too, like pecan. He's been down here with me. Sorry. But like you could add like some nuts, like pecan, walnut, in with it too, and still be bourbon, with some fruit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think about like so Steve, when we went to Wood Hat and Gary broke out his bloody purple cornbread, and then he put his barrel aged honey on it. I'm thinking like something like that, but with our jellies is you use the same grains that you were going to use to make your whiskey.
Okay.
And now you utilize that to create your food product, your bread, your cornbread. And now you put our jelly on it.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel a little uncomfortable when you say our jelly.
We can put our jelly on it.
I wouldn't want to make
Do you like our jelly?
it's our jelly, Lenny.
Our jelly.
So I don't know. I think it started sounding crazy, but I don't know. I think there may be a company here. I think there's a lot of ideas.
So we need to figure out though and this is just for Evan. It's just for Evan. I know how much of a screwball fan he is. So how do we do like a jelly peanut butter or like some sort of peanut flavored whiskey jelly?
So you make a jelly that you like the flavor of first, and then I think you add the component of like a peanut butter on some type of bread, and now you're adding our bourbon flavored jelly
Our jelly.
onto our jelly. Other people are going to be jealous of our jelly. Okay.
No jelly.
And we just came up with the name of the company.
Our
Quick,
jelly.
hurry
Our
up.
jelly.
It's our
I
jelly.
need you to
Our jelly.
secure the rights of that, Steve, quickly.
Yeah.
It's
so let's
it's
grab that.
it's going it's
We
going
just,
now.
we just can't call it Kentucky jelly because it'd be branded as KY jelly, and we don't want that.
Or maybe we do.
Maybe we do.
Way to go.
People can make mistakes.
Our clicks would go up on the internet.
Yeah.
You're right.
You know what? We were only thinking food jellies, but you just broke us into a new market.
Mint julep jelly.
Wait, are we
old-fashioned
talking about?
jelly? This
Look,
can go
there's-
big.
Are we talking edible? What? Never mind.
Whatever.
Mhm. I think what you're looking for is edible lubricant.
All right.
Just
On
for the
that
record.
note, let's wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Evan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook as Evan Van Scoik, and if you'd like to hear more about our jelly, you can find me on Instagram, Wit Wisdom Whiskey.
All right, Lenny.
You can find myself and the rest of Deerhammer on social media at Deerhammer, online at deerhammer.com, where you can also order all of our whiskeys. You can come visit us in beautiful Buena Vista, Colorado. And I'm just noticing that ourjelly.com is available.
It is available.
Yeah.
We got it. We're in business. We're in business.
Thank God.
All right, Heidi, how about you? Where can people find
Well, you can find me on Facebook as Heidi Topol Eller, or you can find me on Instagram as Heller_BearBabe, but maybe I'll change that to KY Jelly Company.
All right, Miss Beka Sue.
You can also find me at KentuckyJelly.com, hashtag KYJelly. And you can also find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website, abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. We'll have information about the Jelly Company out there soon. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right, great job today, gang. For our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's chat for a moment about Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you just want to experiment on a small scale on the stove in your kitchen or try your hand at a bigger setup in the backyard, Moonshine Still Pro can help. They have different still offerings as well as accessories and even grains from Goldstone Mill to help you make whiskey on par with what you get from your favorite distillery. They can even assist with a DIY still project by supplying some of the parts you can't make yourself. Check them out at moonshinestillpro.com. At the ABV Network, we're lucky enough to have some great friends. Amongst those friends is the Goldstein family, owners of Goldstone Mill. Goldstone Mill is a full-service mill offering a variety of heritage and heirloom grains. Their unique approach of working with mills around the country allows them to offer you affordable shipping opportunities to meet the unique needs of your distillery or brewery. They will consult with you to ensure the grains you are selecting meets the unique flavor profiles you are looking for. If you are a home brewer or distiller and you're looking for the grains that your local distillery or brewery uses, Goldstone Mill is the place to look. Check them out on the web at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or shoot them an email at hello@goldstonemill.com.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.